This is day 5 of our unit on circles. Well, this is actually the second part of the unit. We have begun dealing with the relationship between the segments inside of a circle. Specifically, we've learned about these relationships where if you have two chords that are intersecting inside of a circle, the relationship is like this. Part times part is equal to part times part. So in this case, A times B would equal X times Y. That's when it's inside the circle. When you have these, which are called secant segments that are extending outside the circle, it becomes part times whole equals part times whole. Now when I say part, it has to be the outer part. All right, the outer part times the whole is equal to the outer part times the whole. So in terms of the A's, B's, and the X's and Y's, it would be A times A plus B, because that A plus B is the whole. And that should equal X times X plus Y. So these are the relationships that we're using in this lesson today. Okay. Look at this problem. For example, these are chords intersecting inside of the circle. So that means we will do our part times part equals part times part. Okay? So in the case of this chord, that's going to be 6x, part times part. In the case of this chord, that's going to be 3 times 4, which you can feel free to skip that step and go straight to 6x is equal to 12. Obviously, I'm going to divide both sides by 6, and I'll wind up with x equals 2. Okay, that's how we do that one. Let's look at this problem. Same type of thing. I'm going to do part times part equals part times part. So let's see, which one do I want to do first? Let's go ahead and do this chord first. So part times part, that would be 6 times x plus 5. Okay, this part and that part. And that will equal, now let's do this chord, part times part, x times 12, or 12x. So, of course, here we're going to have to do some distributive property. Okay, so that's going to give us 6x plus 30 is equal to 12x. And let's get these like terms together by subtracting 6x from both sides. So that'll give us 30 is equal to 6x. Then we need to divide both sides by 6. So that'll give us x equals 5. All right, that's number 4. Let's take a look at number 6. Now be careful, notice the directions. Say to find AB, that's the length of segment AB, and to find DE. So we're still going to find x, but please be careful and be aware that when we find x, we will not be done. So here we go. We're still doing part times part equals part times part, because we're still looking at chords intersecting completely inside the circle. So if I do this chord first, all right, part times part looks like this. It's x minus 10 is the one part, and then x plus 12 is the other part. So there's my part times part. Now if I look at this chord, then part times part is x times x minus 6. Okay, so you have to be comfortable with multiplying a binomial times a binomial. And remember that to do that, I think I shall change colors for a moment. To do that, I'm going to have to do the distributive property twice. So I'm going to do x times x and x plus 12. I mean x times x and then x times 12. X times x is x squared. Okay, x times 12 is 12x. All right, so I've done that distributive property so far. Now I'm going to do, let's see, I'll use blue. Now I need to distribute the negative 10, and the negative goes with it, so I'm going to distribute the negative 10, so negative 10 times x, and negative 10 times 12. Negative 10 times x is negative 10x. Negative 10 times 12 is negative 120. Okay, I'm kind of running out of space over here. What should I do? Because I need to do the distributive property over here as well. So that's going to make x squared minus 6x. Can I squeeze it in? Okay, so like I said, x squared minus 6x. Okay, but in this area right here, I've got some like terms, all right, like terms to put together. So that's going to be x squared. 12 minus 10 is 2. All right, so that'll be 2x minus 120 is equal to x squared minus 6x. All right, I see the x squared and the x, so my instinct is to get everything on one side of the equation. So watch what happens when I try to do that. Of course, I would subtract x squared from both sides to get these together, but something happens. Both x squareds cancel out. So that just leaves me with 2x minus 120 is equal to negative 6x. All right, now I see I just have regular x's, so I should be able to get x by itself. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract 2x from both sides. That would make negative 120 is equal to negative 8x. And then I would divide both sides by negative 8. And so I get x equals 15. Now please remember that that is not the final answer. That's something that we need, but that's not the final answer. Now we need to go back and find AB. Now AB is this entire distance from here to here. AB is made up of two things. Okay, the length AB, well that's x minus 10. Okay, and then plus, it's also made up of x plus 12. All right, that's what AB is. But we know what x is now. X is 15. So let's substitute 15 for these x's and see what we get. So instead of x minus 10, this really is going to be 15 minus 10. And instead of x plus 12, it'll really be 15 plus 12. So I'll put 15 in for these x's. Okay, so that tells me that AB is actually, okay, 15 minus 10, so that's 5. 15 plus 12, that's 27. Plus 27, of course, is going to be 32. Okay, so AB is 32. Let's just record that. Now we also need to find DE. All right, let me erase this so I have space. All right, DE is this segment from here to here. So DE is made up of two things. It is your x minus 6 and plus it is your x. Okay, so again, x is 15. So let's go ahead and substitute that in. So we will have 15 minus 6 plus 15. So DE is going to be 9 plus 15, which is 24. Okay, so there we have it. DE is 24. So these are the actual answers to the question. So please make sure you follow through and give me those answers. Don't just say x equals 15. That's only going to be half credit. All right, let's move on. Number 8. Aha, this time we are outside the circle. So we will not be doing part times part anymore. Now we will be doing part times whole. Okay, so we will be doing part times whole is equal to part times whole. Remember, when I say part, I mean the outer part, the 5 and the 4, not the inner part. So, part times whole. So, let me do this blue secant segment first. So, the part is this 4. So, it'll be 4 times. Now, the whole is x plus 4. All right, it's the whole thing, x plus 4. So, there's part times whole. Now, for the other segment, which I will change to red. All right, for this segment, the part is the 5, that outer part. The whole is 8. 3 plus 5 is 8. So that's part times whole. So it's just a matter of solving this equation. We will definitely do the distributive property with this 4. So that's going to become 4x plus 16 is equal to 40. Let's subtract 16 from both sides. So that'll give us 4x is equal to 24 divided by 4, and you get x equals 6. All right, that's how you do number 8. All right, number 10. Notice once again that we're not just finding x. We have to follow through and find the length of RT and the length of TV. So we will have to substitute our answer back in. We are outside of the circle, so once again we are doing part times whole equals part times whole. The part has to be the outer part, like the 8 and the 10. So let's go ahead and do this secant segment first. Part times whole. All right, you know what? Be really careful about this. This would be confusing to a lot of kids. All right, I'm going to write this over here. Part times whole. Obviously, the part is 8. Okay, let me get that out of the way. Now, the whole. Now, I think you'll understand that the whole is the sum of these two pieces, the x plus 3 and the 8. So it's going to be, the whole is going to be x plus 3 plus 8. It's the sum of these. So I'm just going to write that down. So don't be scared. Maybe I'll do different colors. Okay, because just kids get thrown by this for some reason. So I've got my x plus 3. So there's my x plus 3. Plus 8. Okay, it's this plus that. So that's the part, and this is the whole. Now, let's do the same thing for this segment down here. Okay, we'll do this segment now. And the part, of course, will be 10 because it's got to be the outer part. Now, the whole, once again, is going to be this plus this. All right, that's going to be the whole thing. All right, so once again, it's going to be x minus 3. And then I'm going to do plus 10. Okay, so that is what we have so far. Now, let's simplify this. It's really not too bad. Like terms we have in here. 3 plus 8, that's 11. So let's go ahead and do that. So this is going to give us 8, all right, times x plus 11. All I did was combine the 3 and the 8 equals 10 times x. Now, I'm putting together the negative 3 and the positive 10. Negative 3 plus 10 is 7. Positive 7. All right, I just combined my like terms on that step. That's all I did. Now I'm going to do the distributive property. Okay, so this is going to give me 8x plus 88. And this will give me 10x plus 70. All right, now I'm ready to solve stuff. So I feel like I tend to like to keep things positive. So I'm going to subtract the smaller number here. So subtracting the 8x from both sides, that'll leave me with 88 is equal to 2x plus 70. And then when I subtract 70 from both sides, that's going to leave me with 2x equals 18. Then I have to divide by 2, and I get x equals 9. Now, is that my final answer? No, it's not my final answer. I need to take this and substitute it back in to find RT and TV. Okay, so RT, sort of like we did before, is equal to two things. It's the x plus 3 and then plus the 8. Okay, so RT is x plus 3 and then plus 8. But x is 9, so that means that RT is going to equal 9 plus 3 plus 8. Okay? Well, 9 plus 3 is 12, plus 8 is 20. Alright, so RT is equal to 20. So I'm just going to go ahead and write that down. RT equals 20. So that is one of my final answers. Alright, now we need to go back and find TV. TV is made up of two things, x minus 3 plus 10. Those are the two parts of TV. So just like before, I'm going to do TV is equal to x minus 3 and then plus 10. But now I know that x is 9, so that's going to make 9 minus 3 plus 10. 9 minus 3 is 6, so that'll be 6 plus 10, which of course is 16. So TV is 16. So TV equals 16. So these are the two final answers. That's what we were supposed to find. Let's move on to number 12. Okay, again, we're asked to find these expressions, so whatever we find for x, we're going to have to plug it back in. So this is outside the circle, so once again, I'm doing part times whole equals part times whole, where the part is always the outer part. So doing this secant segment first, part times whole would look like this. 15 times 3x plus 15. Okay, that would be the whole thing. Part times whole down here would be 20, that's the outer part, times x plus 20, because that would be the whole thing. So it's just a matter of solving this. There are no like terms that I need to combine, so I can just go straight to the distributive property part of the program. So distribute, distribute. All right, so this is going to make 45x plus 225 is equal to 20x plus 400. We could subtract 20x from both sides. So that's going to give us 25x plus 225 is equal to 400. And then we can subtract 225 from both sides. So that'll give us 25x is equal to 175. So then when we divide both sides by 25, we're going to get x equals 7. Wait a minute, that is not the final answer. I should not have put a box around that as though that were the final answer. Maybe I'll circle it or something. But that's not the final answer because we have to go back and find RT and TV. Okay, so RT is the 3x plus the 15. All right, that's 3x plus 15. But x is 7. So that's really 3 times 7 plus 15. And that comes out to be 36. All right, so RT is equal to 36. Similarly, TV is x plus 20. All right, but x is 7, so that's just 7 plus 20, which of course is 27. So TV equals 27. So these are the actual final answers to the question. All right, number 14. It's outside of the circle, so I'm going to be doing part times whole equals part times whole. All right, this is sort of a special case because it's this tangent segment, which doesn't really go inside of the circle at all. Of course, the outer part is x, but then the whole thing is also x. All right, this outer piece is both the part and the whole thing, x times x. Of course, that's going to give me x squared in a minute. Now, this down here is going to give me 9, is that outer part, and the whole is 16. All right, 9 plus 7. That's where I got the 16 from. So that's going to give me x squared is equal to 144. And here's where we take the square root of both sides. And normally I would say x is equal to positive or negative 12. But in this case, I'm just going to say x equals positive 12 because x represents a length, and you cannot have a negative length. So x equals 12. Okay, number 16. We're supposed to find PQ. Let's just call that x, and then we're just really finding x. This is the same as the last problem. It is outside the circle, so we will do part times whole equals part times whole. Once again, this tangent segment is the part and the whole, so x times x. Down here, 12 is the outer part, and the whole thing is 27, because I'm adding. Okay, so that gives me x squared equals 324. When I take the square root of both sides, that gives me 18. All right, so x is equal to 18, and x was PQ, which is what we're trying to find. So, you know, PQ is equal to 18. Alrighty then, number 18, same thing. All right, again, I will call PQX for now. This time the 70 is that special case, which is the part and the whole. So, yeah, I'm still doing part times whole is equal to part times whole. Okay, but this time 70 is the part and 70 is the whole right here. All right, down here, x is the part, and x plus 48 is the whole. So, this is going to be 490. Distributive property, okay. So that's going to give me x squared plus 48x. Aw, shucks. I feel quadratic formula coming on. Anybody feel that? Wait, I messed up back here though. My bad. This is 4,900, not 490. Shame on me. So, this is what we have. as soon as I see this x squared and this x in one problem, I'm thinking quadratic formula. So I'm going to need to get 0 on one side by subtracting 4,900 from both sides. So that's going to give me 0 is equal to x squared plus 48x minus 4,900. Of course, this is our quadratic formula that I'm talking about, so all we need to do is put in our a, b, and c into this formula, and that should give us our solutions. Of course, a, b, and c are the coefficients of this equation. So this, because there's no number in front of the x, it's this understood 1. So a, b, and c are this: a equals 1, b equals 48, and c is equal to negative 4,900. So when you do the quadratic formula, it should look like this. Opposite of b, so that's negative 48, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Now I didn't really need to write down these ones because that doesn't change anything, but I'm just showing exactly where all my a, b's, and c's are. Now I can type all this into my handy dandy calculator just the way it looks, except for the plus or minus. I have to do one or the other, so I'll have to do this sort of twice. Let's use our TI-30 XS multi-view. Please start off in fraction mode by hitting this button. And so we had negative 48 plus the square root of 48 squared. Notice, if this had been a negative number, I would have needed to put it in parentheses with the little squared on the outside of the parentheses. Just keep that in mind. Minus 4, you don't really need the 1. Again, I'm just showing it so there's no confusion, no mystery. Okay, 4,900, that's our C, all over 2A. So you can just type all of this into your calculator. Okay, and we get 50. Wow, what a nice clean answer that is. So 50 is one of our answers. So x equals 50. Now maybe there's another answer. So because we did the plus, how about the minus? Now we don't need to type in the entire thing. We can come back to this and hit enter to edit it. And then we just need to make our way over to that plus sign. Okay, and change it to a minus sign, like this. Bling, it's a minus sign. Enter. See, that's much quicker. We get negative 98. Or negative 98? Anything wrong with that? Well, yeah, there's something wrong with that. X represents the length of this segment. You cannot have a negative length. So this value is what we call extraneous. The word I'm using is this word. Extraneous. That number does not make sense in this context, so we have to get rid of it. This is the only one that makes sense, so our only solution is x equals 50. Be careful with your negative signs and minus signs on your calculator. If you get some sort of an error, it's usually because you pressed the wrong button. You know, we have this subtraction sign, this black button here, and then we have this white button, which is like your negative numbers. So, for example, this negative 48, that's the white button. Whoops, I didn't mean to hit that. Go back. This minus sign right here, that's the black button. This minus 4, that's the black button. But this negative sign in front of the 4,900, am I in there yet? Yeah, this negative sign right there, that's the white button. If you use the wrong button, you're going to get an error message. So if you do ever get an error message, go back and check that out. All right, number 20. We are still doing part times whole equals part times whole because we are still outside the circle. This 20 is the special case where it is the part and the whole at the same time. But for this segment right here, x is the part and the whole is x plus 42. Okay, so this is almost the same as the last problem. So this is going to become 400 is equal to x squared plus 42x. Again, with the distributive property. All right, again, we need to get everything on one side and use the quadratic formula. So this is going to give us 0 equals x squared plus 42x minus 400. And I would use the quadratic formula where a is equal to 1, b is equal to 42, and c is equal to negative 400. A common mistake is to leave off the negative sign. So in your calculator, you're going to put the following. Negative 42. All right, because that's opposite of b, plus or minus square root of 42 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 400. Do not leave off the negative sign. All over 2 times 1. You don't really need the ones. Put this in your calculator. Start with a positive and see what you get. All right, so I got x equals 8 when I typed it in with a positive sign. Now if I change that positive sign to a negative sign, I get a negative 50. But you cannot have a negative length, so that value is extraneous. So we will throw that right out. So x equals 8 is the only answer. All right, so once again we're doing part times part is equal to part times part. So looking at the red chord, the two parts are x plus 2 and 2x minus 4. And that should be equal to. So if we look at the other chord, the parts are x and 2x minus 1. So let's be real careful when we multiply these out, because we're going to have to do the distributive property twice. So for example, if I take this x and do the distributive property, all right, x times 2x is going to be 2x squared. X times negative 4 is negative 4x. Right, then I have to distribute this 2. So 2 times 2x, that's 4x. And then 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. Then over here we have to distribute this x. So that's going to give me 2x squared minus x. Okay, so now we just need to combine like terms and things like but look at this. We have negative 4x and positive 4x. You combine them, but those are just going to cancel each other out. So that means we just have 2x squared minus 8 is equal to 2x squared minus x. Now, normally we would subtract 2x squared from both sides to get these terms together. But once again, they both cancel out. Everything's gone. So that's just going to leave us with negative 8 is equal to negative x. So if I want a regular old positive x, Right. Technically, I'm dividing by -1. So if we divide both sides by -1. Right, we get x equals +8. All right, that is it for this lesson. I hope it was helpful to you. I will see you on the next video.